Here, one of our top stories had to do with the Giants reportedly coming to terms on a deal with Johnny Cueto. So Cueto joins the likes of Mad Bum and Jeff Samardzija. We'll have Jake Peavy and Matt Cain also in the mix out there in the rotation. This division has become very pitcher-heavy all of a sudden. The Diamondbacks, of course, made the big move getting Zach Greinke and adding Shelby Miller. We know what the Dodgers have in terms of Clayton Kershaw. Hisashi Iwakuma gets signed off the free agent market, most recently with Seattle, of course. Which NL West team now has the best rotation?
Yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate this. It's the San Francisco Giants. The fact that Jeff Samardzija acquires $90 million and he's going to now be their third man in the rotation. Yeah. They have maybe the most reliable postseason pitcher active right now in Major League Baseball. And now you have Johnny Cueto. I'm telling you, $130 million over 6, I think it's sort of a bargain. Since in the last 6 years, he has the second best ERA in Major League Baseball, better than Price, better than Greinke. And you get him for $130, I think it's going to bode well. Obviously, no one's questioning their GM, Bochy or Righetti, their starting rotation. You can't dismiss having the best pitching coach in baseball as well.
For me, just to give this thing a different flavor, the Diamondbacks. I like that 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
You know, Greinke, Miller. It's going to be very, very good baseball being played in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think for Arizona, they have that X factor. They have the Pat Riley of baseball, Tony La Russa.
Like that.
Yeah.
You know, what he brings to the table from the experience standpoint and the respect and the knowledge. This team is going to do some good things this season.
And don't count out. It's going to be interesting to see how these youngsters are able to step up and be the 3, 4, 5 guys. They were the 1 and 2 and 3 guys. Now they're the 3, 4, 5 guys. Talking about Corbin, talking about De La Rosa, Robbie Ray. They've got some young, good arms in that system and in that organization.
And I got a feeling Dave Stewart, who obviously was very successful on the mound in his career, and Lou to Zach Greinke down. We're paying you a lot of money, Zach. You also need to take these guys under your wing.
That's Scott Rude. I'm Rick Strom, and we are 120 Sports. If you'd like to see more of our content, download the 120 Sports app available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Scotty, the biggest winners of the NBA offseason, who you got?
I don't want to overthink it. It's the Golden State Warriors. You could argue it's the greatest offseason in NBA history when you consider you have the greatest offense statistically of all time, and then you add the greatest offensive player of this generation.
Patrick McCaw, right?
Nope, it's actually Kevin Durant. Good guess, though. They lose Barnes and Bogut merely out of the fact that they drafted too well and acquired Bogut too well 3 years ago on $11 million per. They're gone to compensate for his contract. And because he and Iguodala and Curry are up on contracts at the end of next season, they'll probably find ways to either go veteran minimum AI, which I don't think is going to happen, but they'll probably find a way to retain the 2 best offensive threats in Curry and Durant next year. Listen, the Jazz had a great offseason. The Pacers had a great offseason.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay?
I would say so, definitely.
But they're not even in the stratosphere. This is historically perhaps the greatest offseason.
I agree with your pick at the Golden State Warriors. A team that I really like the makeup of now, because they were missing that one piece, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. No, it's not Chris Dunn. I do like that draft pick. It is Tom Thibodeau, bringing him in. And we see the others that they brought, drafting Chris Dunn, Brandon Rush, fine, coming off the bench, Cole Aldridge, Jordan Hill, coming off the bench, fine. What he is going to do, Tom Thibodeau, this is, to Karl Anthony Towns, to Andrew Wiggins. Are they going to trade Ricky Rubio? Are they going to dump him? It doesn't matter. He's going to get the most out of all these guys day in, day out.
Zach LaVine, too.
Zach LaVine as well. We don't know what's going to happen with, you could say, LaVine or Ricky Rubio, probably Rubio long-term. But here's what we do know. Long-term, Tom Thibodeau is going to get this team in the playoffs, and they're going to be an incredibly tough out in the playoffs. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, for my liking, losers when it comes to the offseason. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, there's about 5 or 6 teams that really stand out, but because you had bloated money, you have losers that didn't get who they wanted, and then you have also teams that overspent, and one of the guys is their small forward in Harrison Barnes. Now, if you keep that graphic up, all of these guys say bye-bye, team option a year after for their face in Nowitzki, meaning if you see diminished goods, this might be a farewell a la Kobe Bryant season. He's gone. Bogut's contract's up at the end of the year. That leaves Harrison Barnes long-term, and you won't get any draft picks. They've traded off any that are in the second rounds, and they are going to continue, including this upcoming season, barring injury. They're going to make the playoffs again. So they'll have no lottery picks in the near future, and then they'll only have Harrison Barnes for multiple years, and he's not a franchise player despite his contract.
Yep.
They are in quicksand of mediocrity, probably worse than any other team in the NBA where you are right now. Are you in the Sam Hinkie era, or are you right now in the Bob Myers era? They're in neither.
And the worst thing to be, as we do know for an NBA franchise, mediocre, the 8 seed. So that's probably what the Dallas Mavericks are going to be. This team could be the 8 seed, but I believe they'll be out of the playoffs. It is the Washington Wizards. They brought in Scotty Brooks, fine, in order to try and get Kevin Durant. Oh, wait, they couldn't even get a meeting with Kevin Durant. We all drew up this false narrative as well that he was going to go home at some point in time. I was a sucker for it as well. We know how that happened. So they lose out on Kevin Durant. They hire Scott Brooks. And then their next best signing is Jan Mahimbi, Trey Burke, Andrew Nicholson. Bringing back Bradley Beal, they had to. Yet if Bradley Beal's career was done right now and he just flat out retired, we would view it as a tremendous failure because it couldn't stay on the basketball court. My opinion. I know that you probably disagree. We'd like to hear all of your comments, by the way. But the Washington Wizards, for me, with what we drew them up to be and what they fell flat on their face on, the biggest losers, me personally, for the NBA offseason. If you'd like to see more sports news, download the 120 Sports app, available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Who likes a big bowl of yummy mac and cheese? The Blue Jays like a big bowl of yummy macaroni and cheese. Jose Bautista challenged teammate Chris Colabello to eat not 1, not 2, but 8 pounds of lobster mac and cheese for a prize of $15,000. As you see in the picture, Colabello doesn't look that happy. Here's the play-by-play brought to you by Bautista. 8:34, he is still struggling with it. 8:45, I'm losing hope over here. Eventually, 15 minutes later, officially has waved the white flag. Not even an attempt. Disappointing. Chris Colabello failed with the food challenge. But I heard, Scott, that you are a big fan of food challenges. So, we are giving you 120 seconds to finish this tray of mac and cheese.
What's the prize? What's the prize, though?
I didn't even know.
I don't have $15,000.
Yeah, like we gotta have something on it, right? Like we
Are
120.
we doing this or are we not doing this?
I
didn't know we were
will
doing
do
this.
120 push-ups if you are able to do it.
120 push-ups. I'll have Clement do the push-ups. Are we going to do it?
We got a. All right.
Oh,
We're gonna step. Oh no, but you keep eating though.
no, I'll wait.
The challenge is on.
It is?
The challenge is on. All right, here we go.
Rick Strom and Scott Root here in the 120 Sports Studio. Scotty,
Yes,
you've
Rick.
heard of LeBron James, I assume.
LeBron James.
Pretty good player. He had this quote in a very good article from Lee Jenkins, our friends over at SI. He said, "My motivation is this ghost I'm chasing. The ghost played in Chicago. I think it's cool to put myself in position to be one of those great players. But if I can ever put myself in position to be the greatest player, that would be something extraordinary." Now, this came, again, from our partners at SI. There is the cover of LeBron James giving us a thumbs up. Will he ever catch Michael Jordan, in your opinion?
That cover's more suited for Sports Illustrated for kids, by the way. However,
Great point.
it's going to be very difficult because he's already done something 4 times that Mike never did.
Tell me.
Lose.
And
tough
to overcome.
Can't be perfect.
Sure.
Can't go back and change all of that. LeBron James has a very good chance and potential to get into the conversation as the greatest player of all time. It'll be very difficult for him to be spoken like Mike as the GOAT unanimously.
Right.
Okay? Mike's already there. It's going to be very difficult for LeBron, and regardless of what he does, even unless he wins like 8, if he rattles off the next 5, then we start thinking about it. I mean, the magic number I really think is championships because the MVPs are going to wash out pretty much the same. Mike's not going to play as many games. LeBron already has more assists and blocks. He probably is going to pass him in every other statistical category. He's never been hurt. Mike, other than 86, really didn't, even though he had 2 retirements. So let's say he wants to play like Kareem and play till 40. Statistically, it's going to be ungodly, better than anyone else other than what Wilt and Russell did. I think you eliminate the centers, and at the end of the day, he's going to pass Magic Johnson, and it's going to be LeBron and Mike.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing we take away here is the gesture of him from the letter returning to Cleveland with Lee Jenkins to this that did not need to happen. This was prompted by him saying, I want everyone to know where I'm thinking here. The transparency is a breath of fresh air because Michael Jordan shunned Sports Illustrated after a bad cover in '93 telling him you shouldn't be playing baseball, come back to basketball. So he hasn't talked to them in 22 years. He kept his life extremely private. There are so many rumors about him in his public life. LeBron James is the opposite. He's a strong, high-character guy that likes to give back. You know, the fact that Michael Jordan gave back socially for the first time in a long time. I mean, he gave $9 million after the Dominic's lawsuit. Now he's given $1 million per for what's been going on with racial injustice and shootings. LeBron James has been up front before then. So LeBron, I think, will be remembered as a bigger humanitarian. He's already a lifetime endorsee while active with Nike. But in terms of just what's on the basketball court, it's going to be very difficult, but it's possible.
You are a microphone fiend, are you not, for hip-hop?
Used to be.
Oh, well, you should be. J. Cole had a really good quote that I liked. He said, and I believe that you can attest to this as well, a narrative that we have in sports media. You never played me like LeBron versus Jordan. 20 years, wonder who they're going to say was more important. Both changed the game, came through and made a lane. Who's to say that who's greater? All we know, they ain't the same. I think that is how we should all look at this as well, is that they are just they're both tremendous basketball players. They leave their imprint on what the association is and what many young players strive to be, and that we can never put them in the same category because they're such different categories.
And their X's and O's style of play, it's a different path to a means to an end as well.
Definitely. If you'd like to see more sports news, all you got to do is download the 120 Sports app, available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Just one game left in Week 11 of the NFL season. It's a good game in Foxborough. The Bills taking on the Patriots. The New England Patriots, undefeated, looking to go 10-0 on the season. They come into this contest, according to the boys in the desert, as 7-point favorites. We already know where BMAC stands on this. What about you, Scott? You going with the Bills or the Pats?
I think the Patriots are going to go 16-0 even without Edelman. That's my belief.
Okay. Do they cover tonight?
I don't think they're going to cover. Listen, they have holes. I think it's going to take a game or two. I think this game is going to be similar to the way the Giants game was. And I think the benefit is it's in Foxborough. It's going to be close. I like a 5-point win for New England.
Yeah, for me, of course, you guys know where I stand. I'm a believer in defense. And I think for Buffalo, offensively, they have to win first down. Get in manageable second down, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 situations to make it easier for Tyrod Taylor. And also, this has to be a LaShawn McCoy game. We've been waiting for his breakout game in 2015 in a Buffalo Bills uniform. We haven't seen it because of injuries. He's healthy now. This is the type of atmosphere that he has to take over on a national stage. This is why they gave him that huge contract. And, oh, by the way, Sammy Watkins. Malcolm Butler and Sammy Watkins is going to be a primetime matchup. Yeah. Malcolm Butler is following every opposing team's best receiver. He's going to follow Sammy Watkins. Sammy, I need you to show up. I need you to show up. This is why we traded up for you. Yeah. These type of games.
It's interesting that you say that you're a believer in defense, and that's why I'm going with the Bills. We haven't said that very often in the Bill Belichick era, where you're talking about defense and you're talking about the other team's defense, not the New England defense.
Yeah, no question. This is going to be a primetime matchup. Yeah. There's so many storylines. I can't wait to see these two teams kick off, and let's go at it.
You're looking for that Watkins versus Butler matchup.
Primetime matchup. Yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
How about the coach's handshake after the game? You excited for that?
Well, I'm excited, but if I'm right and Buffalo wins this ball game, please be humble, Rex Ryan.
Oh.
Just be humble.
That's like asking a lion to not eat that gazelle over there.
Yeah. Just be humble, because we've seen how he handles impressive wins, especially the week after.
Right. Yeah. Let's just try to get the first step of that before you get to the second step, all right? We'll deal with it later.